for Freedom at the Heritage Foundation. Nile, thank you very much for joining me. Isn't it actually fair that a visa application should remain confidential, and it would be an invasion of privacy to look at it?
Well, thanks, Jacob, for having me on the show today from Washington. We're arguing that it's in the public interest for Prince Harry's immigration records to be released, especially in light of his widespread drug use that he admitted to in Spare, but also in a whole series of major interviews that he's given over the course of the last year or so. Harry has become a huge public figure in the United States, in fact, really a household name in many respects. He's very active on a number of causes in the US, and we believe the American public has a right to see his immigration applications, his immigration records, to establish whether or not he was honest and truthful in terms of his original application. And there's also the question as to whether or not he received preferential treatment from US authorities with regard to his visa application. So I think there's a lot at stake here. And the Biden administration so far is refusing to release any documents, which is why we're fighting them in federal court. And we do believe that we can win this case ultimately.
And what would the normal status be of somebody who marries an American citizen?
Well, if you marry an American citizen, you still have to go through the immigration process like everybody else. You still have to be scrutinized in terms of your application. And if an applicant has used drugs, then they usually receive additional scrutiny. In some cases, individuals will be denied entry into the United States for drug use. In fact, large numbers of Britons have been denied US visas in the past as a result of their drug use. So just being the fact, of being married to an American citizen doesn't alter the fact that applicants have to undergo the immigration scrutiny process.
But drug use isn't an absolute bar to getting a US visa. It may cause complications, it may cause further inquiries, which, for all we know, have happened. It's not something that, if you admit to drug use, you're simply not going to get a visa to the United States.
Yeah, so it really depends. So in some cases, those who have admitted to using drugs have been denied entry. In other cases, they have been allowed through after additional scrutiny. And in the case of Prince Harry, we simply don't know what he actually put down on his application. It's a complete mystery. It's being kept secret. But of course, Harry has admitted to very extensive drug use, which is why we're raising this issue and why we're suing the Department of Homeland Security for the release of his records.
So the department has said no at this stage. How many court cases can you take? What's the expectation of the legal action?
Yeah, so the original lawsuit remains in place. We expect that there'll be additional hearings during the course of the rest of this year. And a federal judge has stated clearly that he will rule on this issue ultimately. And so the Department of Homeland Security, of course, is stonewalling right now, but they will face a federal court in the coming months. And we are certainly fighting to win this case. I think we have a very strong case. A recent opinion poll as well, published by Newsweek, showed that over half of Americans, about 54%, supported the review of Harry's immigration application. So there's a lot of public support for this, growing public interest in the United States.
Well, thank you, Nile, and thank you for the great work the Heritage Foundation does. It's a really important think tank. Still with me on my panel, historian Dr. David Starkey and GB